am great, sir. Good to see you.
All right, thanks for joining us. I'm 10 seconds in the door. Just flying home. Yeah.
Nice.
So are we live? Are we doing
I believe we are actually. So that is a thing that happened.
We're a well-oiled technical production machine, Seven. I hope it doesn't give you an eye twitch at how bad at that part we are.
Don't mistake me for any kind of snob when it comes to television production. We started our studio, Canoodle Studios, in a building next door to a karate dojo and a comic book shop. And we essentially built our studio upstairs, and the downstairs facility was pretty much used for let's just admit it, a weed operation. We grew marijuana, and that's California, so
Sure,
between that and just like you do, and between that and the casting couch downstairs, I would say that our studio was about as unprofessional as you could get.
Damn, Daniel.
Man, now I aspire to that level of unprofessionalism.
That's the thing. That's literally, you just listed off our dream board right there.
That's our dream studio. Right. For sure.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Oh, and the music. I put my 800-watt sound system in there, so it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So I don't think you please. Who needs?
I mean, it's everything I've always wanted.
The devil's grass, says Brianna Lyons. Hi, everybody. Welcome to what are we calling this? Hashtag stay the fuck home.
Yeah. Hashtag stay the fuck home happy hour. Or even just stay the fuck home happy hour. Like that's I think the way this needs to go. I mean, the whole social distancing, that sounds fucking lame. But I feel like staythefuckhome.com gets the point. And that actually is a website that exists.
There's actually a website.
I know. That's why I was saying it. I was hoping people would actually go and see if that was real, because it is.
I'm going to drop the link in the chat buffer here, or the comments section. Corey gets freaked out when I say chat buffer because
I'll be fine.
Staythefuckhome.com is a real thing, and it's a movement trying to get people to engage the seriousness of this. I just had to run a couple of errands. And restaurants, bars, lots of people out and about, touching each other, pouring each other drinks, serving each other food.
Touching me, touching you.
The CDC is really mad about that. They're more happy with the Georgia satellites. Keep your hands to yourself as a message.
Nailed it.
Yeah. All right. So for those that are just joining us, we're not doing as much on Facebook Live as we have. But we wanted to do this one here because it's kind of this is what we think is necessary. If we're going to be home, we should find ways to entertain ourselves. Although I'm thinking about ways to play like Cards Against Humanity in a chat buffer. I figure that might be a fun thing to do, stuff like that there. And this is our good friend Seven Bates. You're in Bakersfield, is that right?
Yeah, I'm out here on the West Coast, Bakersfield, California.
It's like if you picked a California place to be that was sort of like, it would be Bakersfield.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And you know what's really funny is for a long time now, because I lived in LA for about a decade, and I loved LA. I got a bunch of friends of mine down in LA.
Right.
And about a decade ago, I moved up here because the cost of living was much lower. And I'm originally from Texas. And let's get honest, Bakersfield is just basically Texas with more palm trees.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there's rednecks with bumper trucks. There's all kinds
of
number
of pump jacks in people's yards. Yeah,
got it. That's exactly it. So I liked LA, but when I got up here, I was like, well, lower cost of living, it's okay. And everybody goes, well, that's where all the weird zombie prepper guys move. And now that we have a gigantic viral outbreak in LA, and all my friends in LA literally calling me, going, hey, what do you got room? You want to I would come up and hang out for a little bit. And I'm like, gee, no.
Good luck with the guys at the edge of town with the
exactly
that are self-sequestering all of Bakersfield.
We're actually the largest city in the U.S. with as much geographical isolation from all other major cities is Bakersfield, California. So
I drove through Bakersfield when I moved to Canada. You know, we drove from here in Central Florida to Vancouver, British Columbia with the largest truck Ryder will rent you and 10,000 pounds of cargo and a travel trailer behind it, which you're not supposed to do. I was like, man, this is not what I expected of California. I had never been there before. I do like that you're a lot closer to Edwards Air Force Base. You can kind of drive by and go, all the cool shit that happened over there.
It is really neat. Actually, I used to work at Edwards, and
nice.
I used to get access into layers. Oh, it was so cool. But yeah, no, it's Bakersfield, and I tell you, people are flipping out and not doing social distancing in my city. Oh my God. There are people in the streets. Yesterday, I don't want to drop this on my neighbor because he's a nice guy, but he's an older gentleman. I'm going to put him close to 70. And he's one of those really fit older gentlemen who rides a cycle with the little skinny, tight spandex and the whole thing.
Sure.
Good on.
Nothing like old man balls in a spandex suit. But either way, he met up in front of his house with like 6 other riders and they were hugging each other. I'm, of course, watching this through my window going like, like a real pandemic sufferer. I'm watching this. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so this is why I wanted to have Seven on. First of all, he's an amazing, funny, and articulate guy, and like 5 shades smarter than me. And you did a video post the other day about people doing dumb things. And I thought it was so important, your approach to that, because I'm angry at dumb people. I can't stop. And so will you lay out for us, you do things unscripted. So can you lay out for us your thesis on this? Because I thought it was really brilliant.
I really appreciate that. Essentially, because I hold a lot of discourse on my Facebook, I spend a lot of time talking to people or watching people who consistently are very, very angry. And deep down inside, what I will confess is that I too am actually very angry. I was joking that you should stop getting so angry at people who are just trying to buy toilet paper as their means of trying to gain control in this pandemic, because ultimately they haven't been given anything by our leadership in this country to feel secure and safe and like we actually have a plan of action. So people are focused on things like, well, how am I going to wipe my own ass? And, it's kind of like an easy thing to make a joke about, but there's a reason that people keep hoarding hand sanitizers and things like that. They have very little information to work on. And I believe that anthropologists are going to go back in time and look at this first week and go like, okay, everybody had the toilet paper and the hand sanitizer bought up. This goes to show no matter how connected we think the world is, and how this is the information age, we have access to all the information of the world now. We're all basically reading the same freaking 4 or 5 Facebook posts, and everybody's all like, oh my God, you're going to run out of toilet paper. And we all shop for the same thing because we're afraid.
Right.
And I genuinely believe that fear could be mitigated a little bit by a leader who would maybe not contradict himself all the time. Or others. I think the most insidious part that gets me, and I know I've heard you guys talk about this a number of times on your show.
Corey, this means Seven listens to us once in a while.
Oh, I do. I do.
That can't be real.
It's totally true. Totally true. For about 40 minutes. And then I'm basically like and you're only really getting listened to for like maybe 10. So I'm bad. But either way, no, the thing that I have heard you guys say before is it is insidious, almost funny, but actually more terrifying that every time he speaks, journalists go, okay. And then an hour later, they go and ask the actual White House spokesperson, can you clarify what the orange monkey said? And that is like our process of information is the pomp and circumstance comes out, jangles a bunch of batshit guano at us. And then we go, translate, sir, please, may we have some more? And that's what happens all the time. And regular people can't handle that. I mean, these are people who watch reality television, for God's sakes. They don't.
That's the thing. Like we're steeped in this on a daily basis, and we can barely keep up. And the sheer volume of bullshit means that you like there's a reason why anyone suggests anything at all that might give Trump another 5 seconds in office. My rage comes from the vast number of times that I can't even keep in my head because my brain's not that big. I just know that this is a thing that happens every single day. And it's a point like, people are going to the White House to get clarification. But this weekend, he had all those CEOs up. So reporters went to the CEOs to ask them, okay, we're really excited about this. How, what's going on with this? And they're like, we don't actually know. And we're not actually starting. Right. And there's like a little bit of suggestion that they're starting now. But like, we can't even trust them. Like, and they glad-handed
the Google
sunshine
statement.
Or whatever. Well, the Google thing is even worse, right? Like they say, yeah, we're making this gigantic freaking website, and Google's running it, and they asked Google, and Google was like, categorically, that is just not the case.
Yeah. Well, look at. I mean, the most basic question that anybody asked him the other day was, "Have you been tested?" And we got an ambiguous answer to that. And then now that he's yes, the president has been tested, I'm like, I don't fucking believe that. I don't believe that he tested negative. And if I don't believe it, I don't know. I just feel like we're kind of, we are swimming in it. But the dumb people doing things because they don't have better guidance. I'm going to try to apply that directly to my forehead with a hammer every 30 seconds for the next few weeks, because I think it's going to get worse.
I've got an idea about how you can make it easier for yourself, because I have to give myself a crutch all the time with people, because if I didn't, I'd kill them. Really, honest to goodness, people infuriate me, and I appreciate your very kind words on being a smart guy. Typically, when you are in a room full of people and you can tell who in the room is used to looking for their own blind spots and who isn't, that tends to give you kind of like your blind spots. You are a walking pile of blind spots, and I ain't even gonna look at you. Like you can get this a pretty quick assessment. And one of the things that I have to do is I have to give myself a reminder all the time that I am swimming in privilege when it comes to access to information. Just because of my career and what I do for a living, I spend a lot of time just reading academic circles, communications between everything from epidemiologists to viral, experts, psychiatrists, anthropologists. A lot of my work is in academic fields, and I'm now, interestingly, the West Coast director for a homeless veteran project. And so we build affordable housing for homeless veterans. Yeah, I haven't even told you guys about it. It's a pretty cool thing. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
That's pretty rad, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, there's some fun shit to do, and this is something that's coming up. Of course, that's all if society doesn't collapse and crumble over the next 6 months.
We all end up out in the woods with the homeless veterans.
That little prerequisite we have to add to everything. Like, assuming that, we don't all die.
Asterisk. So I realize that, I'll be sitting there talking to somebody and they'll say something that is just complete and utter nonsense. And in the back of my head, it'll rattle around like a hammer went through my eyeball. And I have to say, wait, how many people do you really know, Seven, who spent 30 minutes this morning talking to a geneticist who works in a database that you're specifically helping to map viral spread throughout anthropological data? Well, nobody, pretty much you, jackass. So why don't you dial it back a little bit and maybe not shove your fist in their asshole when you tell them that you're stupid? And so the way that I do this, the technique I remind myself of, is kind of the same one that keeps me from touching my face when I go outside or anything on the ground. Is I'm like, ooh, every surface is as filthy as a public toilet. So I tell myself I'm in a public bathroom everywhere. That works because I'm a bit of a germphobe, but not enough. So the same thing works with dumb people. I walk into a room full of dumb people and I go, most of these people have probably never had, for any reason, to actually challenge their own ideas. Because you can float through life. You know this. You guys live in Florida. You see people who do this all the time.
I'm doing it right. I'm doing it right now.
Never challenge your own opinions. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like, you just got to say something. That person's never had a reason to question whether or not InfoWars is true or not, because it doesn't hurt them to repeat something stupid. It's like, they just kind of
right. And also, if you say it out loud, the boomerang effect may be you're surrounded by other people that are like, yeah, that sounds believable. I'll get on board with that, and they get it reinforced that way, not by any kind of data or charts or graphs or academic reports, but by other people who also are living in the deluded world where they're never wrong. Which brings me around to who the vector is on my timeline. For people that are still I'm not hearing it's a hoax now. I'm hearing it's no worse than the flu. A lot of that. And I have to tell you who's saying that, and on my feed are my conservative Bible thumping friends that again, people who, why am I not a follower of that book is because it doesn't make a lot of sense when you start comparing one chapter and verse to another.
So I've still probably got about 30 pages left from Thessalonians that I'm using for pre-toilet paper.
There you go. Pre-toilet paper. I like
that's
that.
Even funnier. I don't even know if Corey knows this, but your background is you grew up in a pretty Pentecostal environment. Is that correct?
Yes, I am the former youngest member of the National Association of Evangelicals with a divinity degree, mind you. And I even lived in South America for a year as an international missionary, spreading the good word of Jesus Christ.
Wow. Nobody there's nothing more fun than watching Seven Bates have a theological discussion with a thoroughly convinced Christian internet dweller. I mean, it's art.
Now, there's another example of somebody coming up and feeling very passionate about what they believe in. And I have every inclination. I mean, let's just be real. When you're raised in an evangelical cult like I was, and you got to escape by traveling as far west as you can, then you hit the ocean. Then you just kind of sit down and you just kind of work through it. And you go, okay, it's cool. And then somebody starts trying to like preach to you. You have like a PTSD response on the deep down low, and you just want to just. So that is a place where I probably learned how to stop yelling at people that much. And yet I have been called out on it, and I have done it a few times. I have been a condescending prick to believers who come to me.
I'm guilty of that.
I was gonna say I resemble that comment.
But yeah, no, it's kind of funny. Like, you know, I all the Bible.
So wait. So here we are, three guys who are perfectly okay that we have blind spots. We know yes. We can be condescending pricks. So.
Oh, and I was trying to say that I'm totally just watching through because I do. Damn it, I fucked it up. Yeah, no, that's completely true. And I mean the Bible is not a great tome for teaching deductive reasoning.
It's really good.
Kind of not what it's for.
Learn how to own a person. Like if you're really into building a society where you can rape your slaves and make sure you're out in the fields that nobody can hear. Hey, you can't hear this girl getting raped, so she's okay.
Therefore,
like those are really good instructions that you can get, and it's like
it is in there. It's right in there.
It's a great place. Also, if you really want to know how much you can beat a bitch before you get in trouble legally, that's in there.
Right.
Okay. But and avoid that shellfish, and don't you dare with the underwear, you freaking Philistines.
Yeah. Can you imagine like going like with the Jehovah's Witnesses or whatever? Like they're like, no, we're gonna not only are we gonna do the underwear, but we're gonna have some fucking magic underwear,
special magical underwear.
Like not that stupid pansy. I mean, if you're gonna go to hell for underwear, we're gonna make magic sky universe.
My dad would say, if you're gonna be a bear, be a grizzly bear. That's
all right. That sounds like a weird gay reference.
It's not a panda bear.
All right. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
That's not at all what he meant. No.
But you guys notice the correlation between your the friends of yours who don't question their beliefs that much and the purveyance of bullshit or sugarcoating. That's what it's gone. It's gone down from it's a hoax to it's have you seen the bioweapon people?
Oh yeah, I don't even want to talk about them, but but it's definitely
I have a really smart
and we totally can because I'm one vote.
That, and my conversation with that person, and I don't want to genderize them because some of you might know who this is. I'm like, let's not have that conversation right now, because all that is doing is making it so that when we do need to depend on the federal government response to this issue, what we've done is inoculated a whole shitload of people with the idea that nothing the government says is believable, and they will refuse the vaccine because it's just another virus. Let's not have that conversation yet. Let's sort out treating people and making sure everybody's safe, and then we'll get down to root causes and whether or not that's a real thing. And I'm not sure that person heard me when I said it, but that's what I felt like I needed to say.
Yeah, Sue just said, shouldn't this have been the church discussion this morning? So with the church thing, I think we kind of want to have it open to everyone. I am much less excited about tearing down other people's religions because they're stupid and all wrong than providing a positive alternative.
Seven, do you know about the Church of Reason thing that we're doing?
No, Church of Reason. I would love to hear this.
We started a Minecraft server, Corey and I, and the original idea was really brutal and ugly.
And kind of awesome.
First thing we had the idea of doing what we do in a game, and the game that we first selected was Fortnite. But it turns out that we're so bad at Fortnite, we would spend all of our time going, "Oh shit, I just got killed," instead of talking about what we were going to talk about. It's too frenetic to have a conversation. So we wanted a place where young people might come in and join us for a conversation, and it just happens to be in a game environment. So then it occurred to me, well, Minecraft's a much better place for that, because you can safe out an area, you can have a conversation. So our idea was we were going to start hosting a show in Minecraft on like Twitch and talking about progressive politics. And while people were in there with us, we were going to have them, hey, carry these 10 red blocks over here and stack them up this high. And eventually we were going to spell out "fuck Trump" in letters like 200 blocks high in the environment. I know it's a good idea. So we
this
start
is fun.
the Minecraft
it gets
server.
way better.
The first guy we invite in is Bob Benson, who I think is probably in the thread right now. He was earlier. And Bob put down a little sign, the little wooden sign in Minecraft. I don't know if you ever played Minecraft, but it says,
"Oh yeah, I played Minecraft.
I'm grateful to Corey and Greg for starting this space." And Corey was like, "Well, we're never leaving here now, and we have to enshrine this." So we started making a little gratitude shrine.
Okay. But he did say this is what it's for. Like, he made a pillar out of wood and put a box with some signs in it. He said, okay, like, this is just a little pillar of wood, and you can go and write down your gratitudes, and they'll be permanent and in their game on there. And yeah, both of our heads just exploded. I'm like, well, we're gonna need more. And so I cleared out a bunch of land, and I made like 10 more of those things and made it kind of like a park. And we were still in like, they had bad evil things in it, so like, we're gonna need a wall. So I built a wall. They were like, hey, why don't we just build a giant motherfucking cathedral to reason? And so we did that.
And then before we learned about whitelisting, somebody bombed the cathedral with an aerial TNT dropping device, and we had to rebuild the whole thing. Yeah. But the point is that it was 8 days before either of us went, hey, we forgot about the giant "fuck Trump" sign. Because we got into a space of gratitude, the whole emphasis of the thing changed on us. And now every Sunday morning we have a Church of Reason sermon from the cathedral where people can join us on YouTube. And we've been building monuments to, like, there's a giant hydrogen molecule, and then a giant DNA strand, and a giant amoeba. So we're working on making monuments to reason and thought and science.
I love this. This is great.
That's my church. Yeah.
Well, it's a very good idea. I tell you, one of the things that's a really good idea for social space, to have social space with people is, I know that a lot of people have made this observation. It seems as if massive multiplayer online games and immersive 3D games like that are really well suited for those introverts who want to stay home and not get killed by a pretty nasty coronavirus. I don't game as much as I used to. I definitely read more than I even used to, which is its own alarming thing. But I have been blown away by the golden age of television. I mean, I just recently started to watch shows like Breaking Bad and a bunch of other stuff. Oh, wow, so now I've got this mountain of unbelievable high quality. This is better than movies, television out there. And I was like, wait a minute. I really, really, really should have made sure that my stock in Netflix was pretty, heavy. It's kind of a whole thing. But what was really funny was this morning when I was shaving, I had this moment where I was just dying laughing. It was just one of those absurd moments in the mirror. And I was just, kind of shaving and looking at my hair, and I was like, man, I really should have got a haircut before this outbreak. And it was just like the dumbest, most like, like, it's like, really? Like, I'm and that's the thing. Like, I went to the gas station and I put a glove on, and I used the gas pump, and I went there. But I totally walked into the gas station and bought Tic Tacs, and then like put my
currency out of your pocket.
Yeah, I put my card. They tell you one of the most important things to do is to disinfect your phone. And I do. I pulled out my card and I stuck it in the slot. And I pulled it back and I slid it back into my shit. Walked right out to the car. I'd peeled the glove off by this point, and I walked out to my car, and I was gonna just grab the door handle, and I was like, "Oh man, there's a dead bug on my windshield." So I, like an idiot, walk right over and grab the squeegee, and I'm all like, because that's bacteria sludge on its own anyway. And now I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
Spread that around some more.
Squeegee in coronavirus week. Let's do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right over the AC intake,
Totally. And I get in the car and I'm like, how dare I tell anybody how to socially distance or not?
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the first time, like, hey, you got to wash your hands all the time. Okay, I've been doing pretty good on that, but don't touch your face. The second that I leave the house, my face becomes itchier than if you just stuck 10 mosquitoes on it. Because I'm thinking about it, right? I'm like, don't scratch your nose, don't scratch your nose, don't scratch. God damn it, not again! And right, it's gonna happen.
I do that throughout the show. Like, I tend to do a lot of beard stroking, and beard now.
I just washed my hands again, so I'm just like, if I wash my hands enough, for the 10 minutes after I wash my hands, maybe I can touch my face without,
My goodness. Well,
my issue is I'm a giant fat ass who's covered in fur, so I sweat a lot, and I wipe sweat off of my face. Right. I mean, it's like underneath this is Chewbacca, but like padded.
Stop. And you're turning me on.
I was gonna say, like, this is a great story.
Speaking of grizzly bears.
Yes. Funny anecdote, because you guys are my buddies. I've known you for years, and I don't think we've done a show yet. This is our first time doing a show. One of my favorite things.
That's great. How is this the first time we've ever done this?
Because I don't know. We'll do this more.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on. More.
Anyway,
done.
So I went out to go shoot my brother's wedding. I'm a filmmaker and a photographer, people. That's one of the things that I do. And at West Coast, trust me, there's a Venn diagram where you overlap software developer, small filmmaker, television studio owner, and affordable housing developer for the homeless veterans. Trust me, there's a Venn diagram where those three skills totally cover each other. But I went home to go shoot my brother's wedding, and my brother is gayer than brunch, and so this is a cool wedding in Texas. To go to a gay wedding in Texas,
I think we're sleeping on how awesome that phrase is. Just
thank you. So we get there, and my brother and I, he realizes that I need a couple of days to hang out with him in Austin before we can, do the wedding. I eventually end up in a gay club where they're doing a bear contest on the stage with guys in like leather daddy harnesses and stuff. And the gay community likes me. It's one of these things, and because I'm like super much their ally, and I'm like, guys, I'd try everything to figure out if I was gay or not, but I've gone pretty far down that rabbit hole, and I'm sorry, you fellas just don't work for me. It doesn't seem to matter how much I'm a straight guy. When you're this furry and this tubby and this tall, bros are like, I'm gonna climb that shit, and it is hilarious. Yeah. I was told that I'm the best straight wingman a gay guy could ever hope for, and that made me feel good.
That's good stuff.
I was really happy about that. But no, the bears were funny. I had not seen leather harnesses that actually had to cut through that much hair. I was like, I feel good about myself as a person having seen that guy. That guy gets laid all the time, and he's a fat, tubby furball. Okay, right? I'm good.
Yep.
Nailed it.
And imagine my surprise finding out there are women who think this is a good shape for a guy to be. So, I mean, so bad for a 55-year-old
das is good
guy who stays at home and broadcasts all the time. Things are going well in that regard. Brianna Lyons, Corey, when you move, your body keeps disappearing, so it looks like your head is just floating in space, and I'm not even mad about it.
Yeah, that was feature, not a bug.
I want to mention Brianna for another reason.
Was on purpose.
Brianna got a lot of national media attention lately because their daughter has some severe health issues, and when we talk about you're not necessarily protecting yourself, Mr. 25-year-old, I'm going to go to the bars every night, YOLO, yeet, whatever. It's Brianna's child that you're putting at risk. Brianna's, child with a lot of medical problems that you're putting at risk. So give your head a shake, Mr. Healthy 25-year-old guy. It's not just about you. And that's tough. I was 25 once. I remember that it seemed like everything was about me, but it ain't. So thanks, Brianna, for joining us today. We appreciate that. Go on, Corey. You were going somewhere?
Yeah, no. Sue just asked if we went for a bike ride. We did.
Talk about your bike ride for a minute.
Yeah, it was. I was already a little concerned about it because I'm trying to put myself in a position of thinking and acting like we're gonna have to 2 weeks from now. Because if we were really smart, we'd all be doing it now, and it would be enforced by law, in my clearly humble opinion. So we went for this bike ride. I counted 25 people passing within 3 or 4 feet instead of 7.5 minutes. And again, you're going
to North Miami Beach now. He's down South Florida.
I was about to say, because I was like, you just went down to where people are at.
Yeah, we did, right? So it's a path and whatever. I mean, like, I think our thing is like there is actually at this point more of a chance of getting destroyed by a car than there is of getting coronavirus. But just barely.
Having driven in North Miami Beach, I can confirm
it's a thing. So, but yeah, like it pretty soon this is going to be not legal, right? Like there's no evidence that I could find that we're not going to be in a worse off position than Italy. And Italy, everyone's stuck in their homes unless you have to go to the grocery store or the pharmacy, enforced by law. Like, period. Right?
Singing to each other from the balconies.
Right.
Now, did you guys see the mechanism of how they're enforcing that? Like, there is a citation for your first violation, and then after that, there is like literally they will put cuffs on you. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they have to. I mean, that's
they have to. You're completely right. And so, like, what do you think? I mean, we live in America, the rugged individualism. Would that or would that not make Alabama just have its own conniption fed?
Cops would start getting shot over that.
Yeah,
I have
maybe.
no doubt that cops would get killed over that. Trying to enforce that.
And yeah, it won't change until, and it'll only change one at a time when somebody's grandparent has to go to the hospital and literally can't get in, or somebody's 7-year-old gets appendicitis and can't get in because there's no fucking beds. Then that one Republican asshole will start to understand it.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's how it works with all of them. Like they literally will not get off their weird isolationist, individualist hobby horse until someone in their family is affected by it.
I have recently, you guys have probably noticed, I haven't been posting a ton of content until this week. I've been kind of pacing myself a little bit while working on a project. And I decided to start posting a lot this week because I saw so many posts from people that were saying things along those lines. And last night I made a little post and I was like, just want to remind you that in a couple of weeks, because most epidemiologists say this is at least 3 to 6 months, probably as long as 9 months, depending upon how badly we do this. And then the real epidemiologists are like, actually, it's just going to keep coming back with seasons. But, either way, this is a long haul marathon, not a sprint.
It's not a snow day is how I saw it.
Exactly, not a snow day. So if the argument keeps going back to, well, all I have to do is just take care of myself for a little bit, we'll be okay. And that's why we keep hearing about the flatten the curve movement, is because we can only handle about 20% of our entire population. And really, that's a lie. It's really more like 15% that we can put in a hospital at any one time. So if we have more than 15% of us affected by the severe pneumonia-like inflammatory symptoms of the coronavirus, we only have 150,000 ventilators in the US, and they're spread around. I guarantee you they're not going to be up in the panhandle of Florida in huge numbers. And it's a little concerning if you're out there in, Des Moines or something, and you're 60 and you're in generally okay fit health, but come on, you're an American, you eat a cheeseburger every once in a while, your ass could die. And it's just because we don't have infrastructure. So I think that we're going to probably be relatively okay until people start to watch videos on the news about some old war veteran or some sweet little old grandma who's going to be dead in a hallway because they didn't have a ventilator for her. And a doctor had to make a decision about who was objectively more needing of the ventilator.
Triage.
That's
who's going to live with treatment, right?
Goes bad. That's when America stops. If you think we've flipped out over toilet paper, yeah.
Well, this is the thing. Like Italy waited until they were getting those pictures out of hospitals before they started their quarantine. That's what forced them to do it.
Really? I wasn't aware of that.
They waited
I missed that.
So Italy didn't do the quarantine in the north until one of their hospitals was already there.
Right.
And I think we're 5 days. I think we're 5 days away from hospitals in Seattle being there. Right. So that's the thing. Like when it comes, it's going to come very fast. Like, the day when they started canceling the NHL and the fucking NASCAR and everything else, we were like, holy shit. So we're in for many, many, many of those days in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, a couple of things about that. I've been tracking the Florida Department of Health website, which I actually don't think is accurately updated. I don't think data is getting up to that website as quickly as it should. But we went from 44 cases overnight to over 100 today. Yesterday was 44. Today it's 100. Went from 2 deaths in the state to 4. So that's doubling in a 24-hour period. Now, part of that is that more people are aware and getting tested, and we're paying a little more attention. But there are at least 2 cases that I have secondhand. I have a friend who has someone that they know that is in the hospital being treated for coronavirus that are not on the state database. I'm finding that interesting. So I don't know if the breakdown is local hospitals aren't getting the information uphill, or there's not enough staff at the Department of Health IT department to get them posted to the web, or if they have some clearing process to make sure they're real. I don't know where the holdup is, but we seem to be behind even in the information. Our Pasco County Health Department website, last update about coronavirus. Anybody want to take a guess at the date? March 2nd.
No.
Our county health department has not updated their website regarding coronavirus for 2 weeks. So we have some real concerns with that. And the other thing was I forgot what the other thing was, because apparently I'm old and
No, you're not old. Well, actually, you know what? You're going to die, Greg. It's been a pleasure knowing you. The disease is coming.
So my mom and I had to have a conversation about, we work in a counseling office with people that are at risk. These are people, some of them live in a treatment center environment with 20, 30 other people. And we're in a small group room with them for at least an hour a week, each of us, plus individual clients in the office. We need to start teleconferencing these clients and not seeing them in person. But we don't know that they can all pay because they don't all have debit cards that we can swipe on the Square machine. And, we had no kind of plan for this, and we're mental health professionals. So
I want to get to some comments, and then I want to cover some thoughts. Babs is mostly worried about this because she's worried that she's going to get it because she's working at the VA every day. And then she'll bring it home to me. Look, I of course had pneumonia or lung infection this year, so I'm higher risk. So Susie said, "Hey Babs, hope you're doing well. I'm worried about our kiddo since mom and her boyfriend both work at doctor's offices. What would you advise in this regard?" Basically, Babs said I could say what we're doing, but not sure it's enough. We're converting all patient appointments to phone or video. To follow up, we're delaying all non-essential lab appointments. We're screening everyone into the building with one direction flow. And I was freaking lost. They only have one. They only have one door.
Exterior triage. That's a scary term.
Yeah. For positive primary screening, people sick needing meds, but I'm still seeing patients in the clinic. No touching, lots of hand washing, wiping down, etc. So that again, factor that in with what the Chinese had to do. They have that one direction in and out of a building at every fucking building in the city, not the hospital. And they check to see if you have a fever, which is the obvious sort of gimme for this, right? Almost everyone who gets this has a fever as a function of it, even when it's light. If you have a fever, you are sent to a fever clinic that is nowhere, that is attached to a hospital, but has completely and totally different airflow and is like separated from it, but has that resource space next to it. And you're given a CT scan that will basically comes back in a day, and they can do 200 a day with each one of these portable machines that they have. They take 2 slices of lung tissue, which is really amazing in and of itself. And from there, you wait for the results. If you have to wait for the results overnight, which is actually really rare, you go to a quarantine hotel. You're not allowed to go see your family because that's where all the spread has been happening. And if you're positive, they put you in quarantine, and they do not put you in quarantine in your house. We're getting literally every bit of that wrong, right? Yeah. So that's where like the like everything in the presser, and even everything they said in the presser would be a good idea, right? It would be positive steps. They're allowing hospitals to basically avoid some regulations so they could start giving care in other parts of the hospital. That means fucking hallways, right? So that's going to happen, which I mean, great. That's a step, but so much of what they said was bullshit anyway. And none of it is what we should be doing. I mean, it's like, we do, don't get me wrong, we need testing. Like the numbers I got out of South Korea that I was looking at this morning, because I've always thought, they're doing so much testing, that's why their death rates are so much lower. Well, it turns out their death rates are half again as low as the comparison between per capita testing. So that means they're doing a lot more testing. So if they're doing 10 times more testing, they should have 10 times less deaths per capita, you would think, right? But it's actually it's 5 times less, which basically means that by not testing, 100% more people are going to die than need to. Like that's a real, because you can't track where it is. You can't be dynamic with resources, that kind of thing. So this all kind of comes back around to,
you're kind of blind without testing,
right?
We don't know where the hot spots are.
There's going to be limited resources, and not being able to send stuff out to those limited resources in a targeted way is going to kill more people. Like that's just a thing that's going to happen. So when you go outside, Greg and I were talking on the church thing this morning about this. You're trying to share some good ideas and stuff, and we were talking about going out to a park or whatever. And I wanted to start thinking in terms of not doing that. Of course, we went out for a bike ride, right? And I only convinced myself that that's accurate, because I think what we need to start doing is considering the fact that we personally are infected already, because for 2 weeks we won't know, right? That's the level of personal responsibility that I think we need to take, is that's already the case. Never mind that you're passing by 25 people in 7.5 minutes that might infect you. You might infect them, right? Yeah. I'm not going to walk into a crazy fucking church with 1,000 people in it like this one guy did in South Korea, but they might. And if there's a 1%, if there's a 0.01% chance, 1,000 cases came out of that church.
Yep.
right? So let's say you're going to go to a park where no one ever goes, but you got to stop to get gas, right?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
One of the things that blows me away about this the most, the thing that, and you just hit it right on the head. I'm in my early 40s. I'm, even though I'm a tubby bitch, I'm actually in relatively good health. But I hit a couple of the comorbidities, and I know people who are in absolute dire straits if they were to contract the coronavirus. And it's the thing you just said earlier. It's not a matter of if; it's kind of pretty much to the point of when. And the thing that really terrifies a lot of people about that is they're unsure. They don't know what to do. And you've heard the same thing. All these people are saying, "Oh, it's like the flu. It's like the flu." No, it's not. And that's the part that gets me kind of concerned. So, like I heard you say earlier, and I forgot about this, my girlfriend also works at the VA, and she works in the homeless veterans clinic. They literally walk by her.
Right.
And things like this affect the indigent populations the quickest. So we've kind of decided collectively that we are ground zero, and we're treating this like we're probably going to be some of the first people we know who get infected, and that's okay. So what we're hoping for is that, she's also about my age and in pretty good shape. So we're hoping, okay, well, maybe we'll just have that percentage of people who experience a respiratory illness with a high fever and a cough, but we don't get the pneumonia-like symptoms. And let's just, knock on wood, that's what we end up with. But I think what's important to remember, move my phone around. I think what's important to remember is that you might not be one of those fortunate people who just gets out of this scot-free, and you might be the person who's walking around asymptomatic and completely comfortable. And after, I believe most of the epidemiologists that Michael Alsterholm was saying that it seems that 4 days after you've been exposed seems to be the point when you are producing so much of the virus from your nose and your mouth that you're just like a wildfire of it. You're probably infecting tons of people, and you might not think that it's a big deal. Maybe they're all young people. But what if that one young person you're hanging out with because you just missed your buddy goes and comes anywhere near somebody else who's an immunocompromised person?
Right.
You got to think about other people. That's where when I went to the gas station and I picked up the dumb squeegee, I'm all like, not only am I stupid and possibly getting myself sick, I could be asymptomatic. I wouldn't even know it.
Right.
Yeah. That 2-week asymptomatic thing is all the marbles for this. It really, really is. Right. And that's the thing. It's early enough now that, like, again, if let's say there's a 1 in 1,000 chance that that's plausible. Well, you could be the one person that sparks off a whole city. 100,000 people might get it. And we don't know. Right. So like that's where I think trying to model the absolute most extreme measures that are being taken place right now is exactly what we should be doing anytime that we can.
Well, how do we start that conversation, though? I mean, how do we say, like, so, like, that's the part I'm looking to do in my own personal life. And I'd like to know what your thoughts are. I'm planning to have conversations with the people who I think are ideologically the most opposed to the idea of social distancing policies. Some of them are just being kind of like, that's uncool. And then some of them are, like, visibly upset when it's brought up. I want to spark conversations of, like, and this is just me because I'm going to smack people down in debates. I'm trying to start positive conversations with people where I say, hey, how could we do something without hanging out? Like these video conferences, or like you brought up earlier, like Cards Against Humanity and things like that. There are lots of things that people can do because we're all a bunch of couch potato junkie video game playing nerds. Like we could do shit from home without, proximity.
Right. I think it's funny now there's like a whole subset of bars where they have an old Super Nintendo. So you can go to a bar and play Nintendo. I'm like, we could do that at home. Sheriff's husband made me a Raspberry Pi. I haven't even picked up it. It's got every video game ever made on it. So,
that's pretty cool.
We could be doing that. We could be, and I think this is what we are going to do. This is our answer to this is we can talk about what we're doing for fun. We can talk about what shows we're binging and watching. By the way, if any of the Aaron Sorkin shows aren't on your list, they should be.
Yes.
West Wing.
Yes.
And then the Newsroom, the one he did for HBO.
I watched the first episode of that just recently, and I swear to you, as a flaming liberal, it was inappropriate for me to watch it around other people. It was pornographic.
It's that good. I watch that when I want to get all charged up about what I do. Like that's the show I watch when I'm like, we're gonna do the damn thing. We're big fucking news. I like that show a lot. But it's Sorkin. That's his touch on those kind of shows. So
this is true.
All right, so you know what? I have not yet eaten today, guys. I got my schedule got away from me because I'm having like 12 different conversations with everybody all day, and then there was this whole Church of Reason bullshit thing this morning, and so I want to kind of wrap this up if we can, and I want to go get some food because I'm feeling peckish. I feel
well,
like
you do
I'm
that.
gonna
Guys,
go to a
thanks for
Taco
having me
Bell and
on.
touch everything in the place, and that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, Seven, you're gonna be stuck in your house. So like, we go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We might end up doing this happy hour thing every day.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a small thing that we can do. Yeah, Bob just said I enter our Minecraft church and breathe a sigh of relief. That's happened to me too. It's really weird. Seven, you gotta get fucking Minecraft just so we can
Minecraft Java edition. It's got to be Java edition. So
it's got to be Java edition. My kids play it all the time. I actually used to play it at work. We actually created a kind of crummy version of Hogwarts once.
nice.
So
nice.
and I participated in the Frank Lloyd Wright recreation of his L.A. brutalism. Yeah, we did a couple of those. We found out later that we screwed up one of the buttresses, but I was really proud of it. So I love me some Minecraft. I'll meet you guys on there.
Did you see the thing about the library, the online library for materials for countries where things are banned?
No.
Somebody built a Minecraft server with a massive library, a physical library building in, and then you can make books in Minecraft. So what they did is they transferred texts that are banned in different countries into Minecraft books. So you can go to this Minecraft. Yeah, it makes it accessible to anybody that can get onto Minecraft. Yeah,
I love it.
It's a giant, beautiful library building out front. There's literally a raised fist, a statue of a raised fist out in front of the place. And then books and writings by by banned authors from all over the world. So Minecraft changing the world through
well, I sincerely appreciate
graphics.
the invite. I look forward to doing this more often with you guys, and let's hope that we can make the next couple of months less television-esque, less dystopian. I don't know, man. When I watch the news, have you guys gotten that weird little tickle in the back of your head when you see the headlines on like a major news station like CNN, where you're like, this looks exactly like the montage videos at the beginning of every outbreak movie. Like,
oh yeah, I'm like,
cool.
Yeah. Are you okay? So here I have an important geographic question for you. Is it tough for you to get around Las Vegas to get to Boulder?
No, actually, yeah.
Are you dreaming of Mother Abigail? I'm hopeful.
Sorry, I just cut up. Okay. Yeah.
It's funny you bring up Vegas too, because, and this is something, because you guys were talking about the local municipalities who are just inept. And I know we got to get off this really quickly, but I also want to bring up something. I'm not one of those conspiracy theorists. And I usually tend to point out that conspiracies require lots of co-conspirators, which is why they don't work.
Right.
There is one city in the US that is, objectively speaking, probably the most infected city we have. And their local city officials would never authorize any group activities being limited. They'll wait for the feds, and that's Las Vegas.
Yeah.
The casinos were only testing staff for employee morale purposes. And I live very close to Vegas, and I love Vegas. And I heard somebody who is a professional caricature artist, a Celestia Ward, I should probably cite her somewhere today. She made an excellent point this week where she was like, look, let's just call it what it is. We've likely had it for months now. And we have a huge tourism industry that caters to Asian tourists who come from China, South Korea, a number of other places. They all come and touch the same screens, the same the same doorknobs. They breathe air in recirculated hotels. They're beginning to do some postmortems on some pneumonia deaths from January, and they're beginning to get suspicious that they didn't know that they had actual deaths.
Right.
And testing? So this is a city that is literally still to this day saying, come hang out.
And that's the thing. Fiscally, they have no choice.
They have no choice.
This is
not a conspiracy.
If there was a federal government, they would automatically mandate it, because the state government probably won't either, because all the power in the state government comes right from Vegas. Yep. So yeah, I mean we're running an experiment right now. Can states actually handle their own shit? And the answer is going to be no.
If only we had candidates in this cycle advocating for medical coverage for all and universal basic income. Gosh, that would be cool.
Man, that's a hindsight being 2020 moment.
Well, maybe this is the lesson we need to learn to make sure that the next time we don't get caught out like this. Maybe this is the lesson. Hopefully.
That, or we really get good at cooking food at home that's more than like ramen noodles. You know, maybe that's what we learned.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Happy good times. Happy good times.
Happy good
Positivity.
Yeah. And then we tried that in church, and then it was basically like, you know, I think one of the things that, because we're sharing ideas about, and so we've got a Church of Reason Facebook group. Everybody's welcome to there as well. You know, again, we want to share gratitude, share positive things, like anything we're doing, you know, in our hobbit holes to try and make this more fun or whatever. But we did end up having the discussion that I personally think, and I think a lot of people agree with me, that we're kind of morally obligated to keep explaining this to people until they get it. And you know, walking through some of the things that we're learning and why that is. And it's tough. And I mean, even the Republicans now, I mean, they're gonna get it, right? Every single one of them is gonna get it. It's gonna be too late, right? Unless you get to them. But you know, I think the more we try, the sooner they get to that point. And my experience is that they're not going to admit to you that you're right. They're just going to stop fighting you. Mostly just because I personally want the validation. I want the fucking sticker, and I'm not going to get the sticker, and that's okay.
He's like George Costanza. I just want the weight. Give me the little weight. That's all I
want. That's it. That. Just give me exactly.
Corey won't get Seinfeld references because
I don't.
You know that story?
I understood
when we first started
it,
doing shows together, we were having talk. It was during the gay marriage debate, and every once in a while, I would just haul off with, "Not that there's anything wrong with that." And for a while, Corey thought I was actually being sort of that guy. He didn't realize I was actually.
Yeah, I thought he was like just recently woken up to the fact that gay people are okay. For a long time too. Like it was a couple months at least before he's like, "Do you know this is a Seinfeld reference?" And I was like, "I do not."
A what?
I did not know that.
This is what happens when you live in a bus in the Arctic for too long. You miss a whole lot of TV references.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, well, let's wrap this up, and I want to encourage everybody to stay the fuck home.
Yeah.
And we'll do this again, tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so.
Get to know your weed dealer. Hope he delivers to your house.
Right.
In a hazmat suit.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you, Seven. Have a great day out there.
You got it too.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Bye.